Hello again. Welcome to Lovers and Leaders. My name is Dr. Sarah, and I'm super excited to continue my series for the newbie content creators. All right, like myself. All right, so this video is going to be about sources of inspiration, when you're just starting out. Because I know when you're starting out, you're kind of, for some of you, it's like a doozy in your mind, like, where do I go? Who's my audience? Who's my market segment? Who interests me? What interests me, right? And there's so many different ideas flying around, and for some of you, not all, you do get stuck. All right, how you should, what type of content you want, because this YouTube space, for you to be really successful, you need to be really consistent, and therefore you need content that is continuously bubbling from within you. All right, something that's keeping you engaged as well, right? You want content that's keeping you engaged and motivated, so you can still be consistent and show up for your audience, right? So here's some ideas for you to think about. For me, I find when I'm driving, there's some ideas that pop up, literally. Like there's these sentences that I'm thinking about, or I may actually, speak it out loud. There's something, especially when you're just like, maybe you're driving by yourself, maybe, and you're very calm in your spirit, things, and you're focusing on you're thinking about, your YouTube content for the week. I'm telling you, ideas are gonna bubble to the surface, even when you're driving. Creative inspiration is gonna bubble from the surface. And let me tell you, when that happens, you know what I do? My iPhone, I immediately, on the Notes app, I use the dictaphone feature, and I literally start speaking into that note app all my ideas. Yeah, because these ideas, okay, they're coming from above, all right? And I don't want to wait until I get to a stationary place and start typing it. But yeah, of course, while you're driving, make sure you're being safe with it. But I will use the dictaphone feature on my Note app on my iPhone to literally speak these ideas in one or two sentences. And it's been so helpful. I'm like, wow, Jesus, the way he will download ideas to me, it's incredible. So yeah, inspiration may come while you're even driving. And like I said, if you're not driving by yourself and you're really peaceful and the traffic is not disturbing you, or you're not being disturbed by traffic, ideas will download, all right? Like rainfall, trust me. Similarly, if you are home or somewhere quiet, reading a book, ideas will come to you as well. But I have to say, the trick of this is that your mind is on your YouTube channel. Where you focus and where you put your energy on, it's almost like, for me, Jesus is giving me ideas towards what I'm focusing on. So whatever you focus on, ideas will come, and we want those positive inspirational ideas. So when you're quiet, calm, relaxed in your home while you're driving, okay? Other sources of information for me, sources of inspiration is in conversations with family, friends, all right? Certain debates that might happen, or really complex conversations, ideas come up from there, like, oh, okay, was able to resolve this for a friend of mine. Let me talk about it. Or we were at impasse in this conversation, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that's had these issues. All right, let me talk about it. Let me research it and let me talk about it, right? So that's one. Sometimes even going to church. Some of you may go to church or other events similar to church, like a conference, right? Of some sort. There's like this one word that blows your mind, right? And you're like, wow. And that word just literally just, motivates you from the inside, or shifts your perspective, or shifts the way you understood a particular topic. And from that, you're like, oh my goodness, I gotta talk about it. That's happened to me, especially even on TikTok. I would leave church, for example, and there's a word that I got inspired about, and I create a short topic around that, and I put it on my TikTok, right? So that's, being in these kind of, amazing atmospheres of love, of transformation, like a church service, for example, or conferences that you attend. It could be professional conferences, that I often attend myself. There's some words of information that will transform you, all right? And as a content creator, you want to, like myself, you want to be able to help transform other people as well. So you've got to get that message out there. Some other sources of information. I mean, I keep saying information, but it's really inspiration. But it's also like information too, right? Yeah, yeah. The inspiration becomes information. Yes, the inspiration becomes information. You see what happened there? Information just kept coming to my spirit, and now I connected the two words. So anyway, it happens like that. All right, when you are on course, when you are in alignment on your purpose, I'm telling you, things just flow really easily for you when you're doing what you're meant to be doing at the right time. All right, other sources of inspiration for me. Oh, I would say oh my goodness, I am so, when I get new sources of information, for example, just recently I've been watching YouTube videos about fasting because I want to lose some weight, and just the power of fasting, and how like your body basically uses its internal reserves to feed your body when you're fasting. That could be, I was literally sharing that kind of information with people that I know, but I could potentially create a whole, content around that. So likewise, you have, been inspired by information on maybe, on a task such as losing weight, right? And you've been able to acquire certain information that's really inspired you and motivate you to do that, because I've been doing some fasting, right? So that in itself can be, as a result of your experience, you could actually create content around that. Tell people, what you've been doing, how it's worked for you, what hasn't worked, what what have you learned that you can add to the conversation about losing weight and fasting, right? So yeah, something that, like I said, with the weight loss, something that you're working on, that really inspires you and motivates you, and you've actually tried it out, all right? That in itself can create many, many videos of content. And we've seen so many videos of weight loss and fasting, right? So, what can you add to that conversation? Similarly, what can you add to the conversation? There may be some hot trending topics about people, politics, things that happen in a local community, things that happen, in things like the reality TV shows, things that happen trending in families or relationships, right? And you find it really interesting, and you say to yourself, well, you have opinions, right? You have your opinions. Well, that could be a source of inspiration, right? For you to create content around your opinions, all right? Because in this life, there are many various topics out there that we can talk about, but what's your opinion about it? Your opinion might be similar to somebody else, but it's still different. So allow people to hear your perspective. You never know how that can be of benefit to somebody, all right? Influence them to make better decisions in their life, for example, especially about relationships, singlehood, marriagehood, right? Parenting, for example. So think about trending topics that you naturally gravitate towards, and you have some personal opinions about, that you typically maybe talk with people you're close to. But how about think of sharing that on this media called YouTube, right? And share your perspective. There's going to be someone that's going to resonate. There's also going to be probably some people that will challenge your opinion. But so what? That creates engagement, right? Okay. I think lastly, I want you to think about your senses, what your senses are picking up daily. that you could create content about? In other words, what are you focusing on often? All right. What is it that's drawing your attention? What's your opinion about what you're seeing? Could you create content around that? What is it that you're hearing often that keeps coming to you? Or maybe someone's asking for your opinion or your solution on. What are you hearing that's disturbing you? What are you hearing that's making you happy? What are you hearing that is challenging your concepts about life? Think about creating content around that. What is it that you're tasting that you enjoy or what you don't enjoy? You may decide to be a content creator on different restaurants in your neighborhood, all right? Or restaurants when you go on vacation, or food trucks when there's events in your area. All right, so what are you tasting? All right, what kind of foods are you eating to feel youthful? All right, what kind of drinks are you drinking to maybe even clear up your skin? I'm just, throwing these things out there regarding your senses. All right, even touch. What are you feeling that's making you feel good? Like, what are you putting on your skin? What kind of clothes are you wearing? All right, do you love going shopping? And all right, cool. So what type of clothes are trending? What type of clothes are fitting well for your body size that other people with your same body size can be inspired about? All right, so this is touch. All right. What else am I missing? What other senses? Okay, smells. All right, yeah. What are you smelling? What's inspiring you? Are you somebody that loves to smell flowers? All right. Are you someone that loves to smell perfumes? There's a lot of content about different perfumes. All right. For example, you could create content about that. Okay. And of course, you've got the sixth sense too, which I've pretty much been touching on if you've been paying attention. That sixth sense of getting inspiration from above, being discerning of what you should be talking about. Because let's keep it a buck. There is some YouTube content that I watch, maybe where people are commentating about other people, but if I'm gonna do that, it has to be my perspective that I'm really comfortable on, but I'm just not naturally right now someone that's just going to talk about people willy-nilly just because it's trending. It's just not me, right? So you have to be really discerning when you're in this YouTube streets where you're talking about content that is in alignment, all right, with who you are authentically. All right, that's how you're going to make sure that you are going to sustain this work, all right, on YouTube. Because if you're going to try and copy somebody else doing commentary about celebrities, for example, but because you're trying to get views, right, but on the inside it just feels icky, it just doesn't feel right, don't do it. All right, so this is why that sixth sense, the inspiration, is really important. So I really hope you've gotten something from this, especially leveraging your five senses plus the sixth sense. Okay, leveraging hot topics you talk about in conversations with people in your life, leveraging words and topics and feelings you get when you go to conferences or church. Think about what people usually come to you about, to solve their problems. Leverage that and solve other people's problems, the same problem on a mass scale. All right, there's a plethora of things that you could do. So I really don't believe that you should get stuck after watching this video, quite frankly. Don't try and do it all. Instead, trial and error. Try one topic, see how you feel, see what the engagement is like. In about a month or two, try another topic, all right, or genre of topics, but just try, all right. You got to try until you find your natural rhythm. Like, for example, one of my core things is to be an inspirational person, to motivate, to get people moving, to transform their inner conversations, to reconfigure their mental image. So oftentimes you'll see in my videos, whatever I'm talking about is to be able to change that person from the inside out. All right. So that that thing that they want to acquire on the outside, it's dependent on changing your inner person, right? So you hear that. So I know that's my core my core value. All right. So, and I'm skilled at that. So, you need to find yourself, find your natural rhythm by trying different contents, especially in the beginning. But some of you already know what you want to do. All right. And you may get stuck for some reason, lack of inspiration. Well, like I said, leverage your five senses, leverage your sixth sense. Okay. Leverage, what interests you. You may need to, and if it's an area that you're interested in but you don't have much experience in, you may have to leverage other people by start interviewing people. hmm You may have to do that. Just interview somebody that actually has that knowledge for your audience. All right. I think I'm going to end there for now. Please do check out my link below where I do offer mentoring for various topics that I cover on my YouTube channel, including a newbie content creator. So I'm super happy to be of help and of value to mentor some of you that need this. I provide other services as well, so please check this out. And before you leave, do me a favor, give me a like, okay? It helps push this message forward because we want to help other newbie content creators because their message is needed. All right. I do believe if you desire to do this, there is a message in you that the masses need to hear. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much, and much love to the subscribers that I already have. So much appreciate you. I'm doing this for you and more to come. Until next time, stay blessed and keep on creating. Bye for now.